Hi everybody, it's Dr. David Moffet here in Burrawang, New South Wales, and I'm talking to Dr. Clafrence Tam, or Clary, from New Zealand, or really she's Canadian, living in New Zealand, but she's actually in Perth on her way back to New Zealand tonight. So if that confuses you, it kind of confuses me too. But anyway, it's probably even more confusing for Clary because her body must be all over the place in
messed
time
up.
zones.
It's not normal. There's nothing normal about this
So,
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you think jet lag is something, she's going to have a 5-hour time change getting back tonight. So good luck to Clary for tomorrow in
Thank you,
clinic.
sir.
But Clarence Tam, thank you for joining me for this quick call. Clarence, you're speaking at the reason we're talking now is because you're speaking at the Dental Fire Aid Extravaganza in Merimbula in March, in less than 4 weeks. And you're one of our keynote speakers because you're one of our clinical practice speakers. There's a lot of practice management, but we've got a few clinicals, and you're one of the authorities in the world on composite resin. So it's great to have you.
Wow, it's really flattering for you to say that.
So
Thank you.
I've just answered your first question because I was going to ask you, what exactly are you going to be talking about at Dental Fire Aid?
Right. It's actually not just composite and how to manage that and how to manage like optimal bonding to various substrates, but actually it's also about bonding to mystery substrates like zirconia and things like that. Can you bond to zirconia? Are all bonds created equal? What to look for in those particular primers and bonds. So we'll be talking about composite resin because obviously economically it is probably the most economically efficient material that we have. And even before we do, I guess, like extensive porcelain restorations, especially if a tooth is symptomatic, we do want to test drive the final result to make sure that you have a quiet nerve and things like that before you have the patient invest in a definitive, if you will, indirect restoration. So like in my view, I really just want to kind of show people various ways to layer large dose composite restorations. And I'll be explaining one that actually minimizes, well, it seems like it violates the C-factor rule. However, research shows that this particular technique used in the posterior will increase your pull-out strength significantly. And also, obviously, recognizing what various physical properties of composite resin there are, because composite, as we know, is strong in compression and weak in flexural strength, or E modulus. So how do we manage that from an occlusal standpoint? How do we dial that in so that we have a minimal number of fractures and failures? How do we control those variables? So that's for the posteriors. For anteriors, obviously, our restorations are getting larger and larger, and it is not economically viable for a lot of people to go straight to indirect restorations as well. And we're also in the age of transitional bonding, which is if you've got that generalized erosive case, they come in and you find their new home position, you're building to there, you want to test that out to make sure that whatever ailments they had before don't repeat themselves. And so I'm just going to explain a certain protocol to minimize and calibrate your anterior occlusion to minimize the risk of failures in the future. Also, okay, so that's more functional. From a more sexy or an aesthetic standpoint, I'll be talking about obviously maverick tint placement, where and when in both anterior and posterior situations, how to make a fissure look like a fissure, because sometimes when you just pull a stain on top, it just doesn't look hot, You want to make it look like lingerie peeking through. Am I allowed to say lingerie on the show?
You can say whatever you like, Clarence.
I just did. It just happened. It just happened. Okay,
you
cool.
did say.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, sorry, you go ahead first.
No, I'm just wondering how you're going to get through all that in only 60 minutes. You're going to be talking at breakneck speed.
I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try not to.
Yeah, I think you'll go okay. What made you want to speak at Fire Aid when you heard about it?
Man, I mean, obviously, like I'm an animal lover. I've got a French bulldog, and like the number of animals, like the billions of animals that have been affected by the fires and across the country, have really just kind of broken my heart. And I know that there's Amanda Price of Hugh Fruity, the country manager for Hugh Fruity, who's like heavily involved in wildlife aid and rescue and everything, and she's like up with the numbers, and just to hear what she has to say is really moving and really horrible. Not only that, that's the animal side of things, and obviously the loss of biodiversity and the loss of fauna and flora, but also yeah, like it has to do with like the lives of people that have been irreversibly changed by this, and obviously hopefully recoverable. But to start 2020 on such a back foot is just like not not what someone wanted to start in like a new decade with. So I feel like I've got some family over in Koroiba, Queensland, and they had to evacuate. Unfortunately, their house was unaffected, but it just kind of really hits close to home. Obviously we're seeing the smoke from Australia over in New Zealand, and it really, yeah, I was not in New Zealand at that time, but seeing those pictures, it really did look like the end of days and stuff like that. And while it's not the end of days, it is really, really kind of a really trying time for a lot of Australians. And, my heart goes out to them, and, I'll do anything that I can to help them. And, if this is something that I can do that will help people, I mean, if I can be a draw card, that's super flattering for myself. And I'd love to have the opportunity to kind of give back to the profession and help someone else, because, yeah, like we're fortunate in New Zealand that I haven't been affected. I'm in the CBD, so it would take quite actually, that convention center fire was like right next to my apartment building when it happened. And I thought my apartment building was going to burn down, but it didn't even, the smoke was blowing in the opposite direction. So I was fortunate, but that's just
it's tough. People know that I moved full-time from Sydney to an hour and a half out of Sydney, and the bushfires got within 25 kilometres of our place from the north and as well from the south. And we had some fairly scary times with the winds, not knowing, and the sky going dark with the smoke, not knowing whether we were going to get amber attacks. And there's bushland all around our place, although we're a grazing property. We have bush out the back, out that window, and bush maybe 75 metres that way and 40 metres that way. Just little patches, but it can really go up and it can burn your house down. So it was quite terrifying for us to experience that firsthand.
The whole thing with building fire lines and fire pits. I get the concept, and it's kind of like you're bugging out your house for like the environmental disasters of like the new millennia, and it's due to global warming and all that kind of stuff and environmental change. And but like I hear you guys have eucalyptus trees. So eucalyptus trees, apparently, I think Bernie Graham told me, Bernie from Hugh Freedy said, you got these giant eucalyptus oil balls, fireballs shooting across with the wind from tree to tree, igniting kind of new fires and stuff, even over fire lines. And I was like, it's unstoppable. It's like, remember that video game you used to play when you were young, Contra? Maybe not, but Contra with the spread fire, whatever. But it was like that. It's just like, holy, you can't stop that spread fire. It's insane.
They didn't have video games when I was younger, Clarence. I'm sorry.
I find that hard to believe. Anyways, okay.
Space Invaders. That was it.
I was actually good at that. I'm actually really good at Street Fighter. This is irrelevant, but Street Fighter has fireballs. The Hadouken switch?
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
I understand.
That's cool. That's fine.
Now, Clarence, we've got, sorry if I keep calling you Clarence because you'd like to be called Clary. Clary, we have 15 speakers in total. Who else are you looking forward to hearing speak at our Fire Aid event?
I definitely haven't heard Christina Kane speak. I'm definitely looking forward. I've worked closely with her before, with ADFA and everything like that. And, she is kind of like someone I really look up to there. Of course, we've got Coach Barrow and everything like that. And, I couldn't make it to his Melbourne workshop and I really wanted to. So yeah, those are two of the people that I'm kind of like really, really looking forward to. And of course, Derek Mahoney, all these big names. It's fantastic how you've managed to get kind of like such diversity, people coming together from all different backgrounds and it's really cool. It's like kind of watching the Oscars, not really because I wouldn't be in the Oscars, but like somehow, yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
I understand. And when Craig Newman called me and it was originally just going to be my wife talking, and then he said, well, who else could talk? I felt almost like Bob Geldof, just gathering people together for a big fundraiser. And everybody I called was just like you. They were very happy to contribute as much as they could in getting this project off the ground. And now it's just a matter of just really driving it home with the dental practices around. The biggest problem we're having is that Merimbula is still a long way from anywhere else. and but still, we've been doing a lot of calling into dental practices in Canberra, and we're getting a lot of interest. So we're really pushing it out now, and hopefully we'll have a good crowd there for this event. Certainly, the other thing for people who can't get there, they can purchase the recording of the program, so they'll be able to have be able to learn from this forever, and that'll also raise money for the Bega Valley Disaster Relief Fund as well. So all the money is either going to be spent in the town by people getting there, or it'll be given to the Bega Valley
Absolutely.
Disaster
It's going to be a
Relief
big
Fund.
Stimulus. Yeah, I just want to really congratulate you for actually being the impresario behind such a massive effort. I mean, it's really incredible, and it's really special. Like, you're really strapped for time, and you're using your talents and your efforts, and I really applaud you for what you're doing and bringing us all together. So, I mean, thank you.
Well, thank you, but it's really a result of everybody helping, and to have people like you of your caliber, and Derek Mahoney, Howard Ferran, Chris Barrow say, what can I do, has been really heartwarming for me. And for my friend Craig Newman, who's down there in Merimbula, he's also been very helpful in doing the hands-on stuff down there. It's been a team effort from everybody, and thank you for people like you. You mentioned that you've got family in Queensland who are affected by the fires, but you've not been to the south coast of New South Wales. It's a very beautiful area, but sadly the bush just grows straight into the ocean. So when they put a town there, it's usually one road in, one road out from the main highway.
It's really isolated.
Creates problems for the fires. Clarence, thank you very much for being on the call. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we go?
No, sir. I mean, I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone, and hopefully if I can get together kind of a last minute ticket and stuff like that, I want to score and actually go to Merimbula, and I want to meet everyone, and I want to see, it'd be really, really nice just to be present. I mean, doing Zoom is great, but, being there would be better. So I'm just going to see if I can be better and actually do that. So we'll see.
It'd be wonderful. It's wonderful that you'll be able to spare your time to do it as a live recording. But if you can be there, I think the people who are coming are in for a real treat. You're a wealth of knowledge, and you're somebody that people in the profession really look up to for what you've been able to achieve so far. So,
thank you, sir.
Clarence Tam, thank you very much for having the time for this interview. I wonder what the guy's eating behind you. He just got a nice big tray of food. Was that
it's like beef cheeks. Sorry, beef cheeks with they got like some rice going on and some split pea soup. So I'm gonna smash some of that, I think. Maybe.
All right. Good luck to you, Clarence. Thank you very much
for
being on this call. I'll end it now. Thank you.
Touch base soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.